And we go green again.
And of course, it's single file now because it is in fact a restart. Look at Goodyear. He stays high out of that line, trying to challenge and move up onto the Duracell car of Bozell.
Scott Goodyear moves into the battle for second place as Paul Tracy makes his move inside Goodyear. Tracy working a groove a little bit down on the inside of Goodyear, now drops in behind. Battle for third continues. Tracy moving to the inside now. He will run down on that slickened area.
You have to be careful. You have to be so confident with the handling of your car to put all four wheels down into that white limey area. But Tracy looks very good. He looks quicker than Goodyear right now.
Paul Tracy able to work the low groove. If there was any concern about it, it should be drifting away now as he is able to keep pace and actually get a little bit ahead in the first corners on Scott Goodyear. But then Goodyear works 3 and 4 better and is able to get ahead of Tracy. The ongoing battle for third.
We saw a clear picture there of horsepower. Tracy was actually alongside, right through here, gets alongside Goodyear, and watch what happens. Look at this. Goodyear draws away. He's got more power than Tracy, or less drag down this front straight. And Goodyear does not have that cascade wing that Bozell has. That's why he's quicker down the straight.
So the ongoing battle for third place continues between Scott Goodyear and Paul Tracy. The two Canadians at it once again. The two that have made this sport so incredibly popular in Canada now. Tracy looks to the inside. Paul Tracy, with his wins this year, used to be able to go anywhere he wanted in public with no problem. Now they know him everywhere in Canada, and they love him for making his mark in the Indy cars.
In corners for so long on over traffic, you can afford to wait and bide your time. You don't have to jump and try and make an over-aggressive move. But look at Tracy, constantly has a little look down the inside of Goodyear.
You'll get a glimpse from time to time, too, of Mario Andretti and Scott Brayton. Andretti just moving around Brayton and able to close now on Roberto Guerrero in a battle for fifth place. As Tracy continues to worry Scott Goodyear. Front of the field, still Mansell and Bozell. They are not in contest with one another at the moment.
This is where the race is. Try and overcome a car that's a little bit faster down the straight. To do that, you have to be right behind him exiting the corners. But traffic can play a role here. Goodyear goes high and forces Tracy high.
And in doing that, they are both able to move up on Raoul Boisel because the leaders, too, have begun to encounter this slower traffic. And Boisel is able to close just ever so much on the leader, Nigel Mansell. Jan Beekes has an update on Raoul Boisel.
Well, Paul, Raoul is dropping back, and his crew reports that he's picking up a little bit of push or understeer in turn 3 and in turn 4. That is also one of the things that added to him slowing down in qualifying. So it's a push slowing down Boisel.
Paul Tracy made the move to the inside, trying to push alongside Boisel. Boisel looks over, checks that left mirror again, because he sees Tracy in the battle with Goodyear. And Tracy's pushing down to the inside of Goodyear now. Look at this as they come side by side.
Great wheel-to-wheel stuff. But look, Goodyear is quicker down the straight again. Tracy cannot pull it off.
It's not much, but just enough to make a difference.
Johnny Unser's in trouble. He's traffic moving to the high side. He's in deep trouble. That may cause a yellow if he dropped a lot of oil.
Johnny Unser's car, you saw the display of vapor at the back of the car. That could also mean liquid oil. More than just vapor out on the race course. It may bring out the yellow flag, but this fight continues for third.
This is where the race is. Mansell still leads, but this is the race here. Now, as the race unfolds, this Penske chassis usually becomes more superior than the Lola Ford. Here he goes again.
Paul Tracy makes the move to the inside. And once again, Goodyear is able to work that high groove. But how do they come off the corner? Tracy has a nose on him. And Tracy will get his nose across the line first, so he will be scored up into third place, at least for that lap. And now he comes all the way past, so power finally did not pay off. Paul Tracy handling a little better going into the first corner.
Sometimes you have to wait. Paul Tracy made that move on lap 2, and it took until lap 15 before he actually pulled it off. But look at this.
Oh, they split around Hiro Matsushita, and now they're back side by side again. A dead heat to the line as Goodyear now pushes ahead of Tracy. Traffic again in front of them.
Willie T. Ribs is now in the middle, and Tracy gets the break. Tracy is on the inside, and Goodyear has to back off. Now Tracy's safely in the lead, but they're not out of the traffic yet.
If you're running back in the field, you really have to pay attention to the traffic coming up on you. Willie T. did. He saw the one car moved high. He couldn't move high enough to let both of them through. So Nigel Mansell is the leader, followed by Raul Boesel and Tracy. Back at the New England 200, Raul Boesel with Paul Tracy closing on him. And now, at the same time, it is Scott Goodyear splitting to the high side. Raul Boesel may be in trouble.
He has a lot of understeer. He's not quick into the corners. This is a look at Johnny Unser. We saw him smoking earlier on.
Let's go to the pits and Jan.
Well, you talked about the spray from the back of Johnny Unser's car, and you're looking at the oil-covered Chevrolet engine. They have a huge oil leak. I'm surprised it did not bring out a full course yellow. Johnny Unser, it's unlikely they can get him started back up again. What they're doing right now, trying to clean all that oil off and find the leak, fill it back up with oil, see if they can get him underway. Guys?
Back on board Raul Boesel's car, who has now dropped to 4th place as Paul Tracy and Scott Goodyear both moved around, and Tracy and Goodyear are in pursuit of Nigel Mansell. So Boesel, who started in 2nd, now dropping back to 4th. And struggling with that car, Mario Andretti with Scott Brayton just behind him, a battle for 6th place. And Brayton challenging. Brayton trying to find room to the inside, traffic just ahead of these cars.
That's Ari Lyondike that's just ahead of him. Imagine Lyondike has to move out of the way. So often he's the leader, but Brayton trying to take advantage of Mario getting caught in traffic. Not close enough here.
Lyondike having a terrible day. He runs in 20th and already runs one lap behind the lead of the race. Mario Andretti, Brayton just behind him. Remember, Mario picked up the win on the mile at Phoenix, but only after leader Paul Tracy, who ran a full 2 laps out in front of the rest of the field, crashed, giving the lead over to Emerson Fittipaldi, who, when they came back to the green flag from the accident for Paul Tracy, had a part brake and went into the wall as well, giving the race over to Mario Andretti. So this battle breaks off. Let's go to Bobby Rahal's car and ride on the nose.
And this is one of the best in-car camera angles you will see for a long time. Currently running in 9th position, not where Rahal wants to be. Watch him go over the line. Right there, gets slippery. You can hear he's off the power. Now he gets back on the power, drifts it wide up into the groove. But Rahal got this car very late, remember, doesn't have the type of test time other people have, and doesn't enjoy the type of success he did, particularly last year.
All right, at the same time, let's go to the front of the field and ride on board with Nigel Mansell. Traffic just ahead.
The key to Mansell on these ovals, I think he's very smooth. He's in the lead, adapting to moving past traffic. He still goes over the line also. That's a measure of the confidence he has in the car. But Mansell adapting and likes these ovals. And I have to tell you, he is very relaxed on these race weekends. Look at him gather up the traffic here.
Alonso Jr. just ahead. Mansell, we mentioned, celebrating his 40th birthday today. Had a little party back in the paddock area. His family is all here celebrating with him. He's still suffering a touch of what he believes is the flu from last week. Remember how exhausted he was at the Michigan 500.
And you saw a good example there, Paul, how quickly you have to make a decision. He went to the outside of Machusta. Machusta came out, then he went back to the inside of Ari Lyondike. So within the space of one corner, he has to change the groove twice, change his line twice.
Look how well the car responds to all of that. Seems to be able to put it anywhere he wants. Now Raul Boesel beginning to handle up Scott Goodyear and gets back around Goodyear. Remember, both Tracy and Goodyear got around Boesel. Now Boesel suddenly is back in this fight.
And he definitely got caught in traffic, and look at the traffic jam here that Mario's now caught in. He almost got boxed in there.
Mario had Olivier Griard down to the inside as he tries to work his way through traffic. Now we come back, Scott Goodyear and Roberto Guerrero. Guerrero able to come by Goodyear. So if it was Bossell that was having trouble earlier, perhaps now it's Goodyear.
Well, Scott Goodyear was not that confident after his full-tank run yesterday evening. He just didn't think he was as close at this mile oval as they were at Phoenix earlier this year, or even at Milwaukee. He didn't have that confident air about him, and maybe we're seeing the results of that lack of feel for this car, and now he's actually adapting with coping with some problems.
Scott Goodyear scored his first and only IndyCar pole at Phoenix this year. Now struggling to get around this course. No other battles in the field. We say that as we see some cars overhauling for lap positions.
That's Mario still struggles to stay ahead of Brayton. Brayton very often can take advantage of traffic, but the problem is when the lead car passes, they don't always see a second car that might be right in his slipstream. But Mario's still enjoying about 6 car lengths on Brayton.
All of that. They moved around Teo Fabi, the bright yellow car, who was running in 16th place. And so just that quickly, much of the field is running off the pace. 11 cars remain on the leader lap, led by Nigel Mansell, followed by Paul Tracy and Raul Boisel. We'll be back. Back in the New England 200 as Mario Andretti is in a fight. Scott Brayton just got past him. Now Robbie Gordon comes up to challenge as well. Behind Gordon. Mario seems to have been in the thick of some sort of battle or another, with the exception of a couple laps right from the start of this race. A moment ago, it was Brayton that was able to move around him. And now look at Fittipaldi as he comes down onto that low groove. And Fittipaldi gets around Gordon and picks up 7th place now.
And the Penske likes that low groove. It has grip down on that tight line. He's going inside Mario also. So he has good grip down there, just like we saw Paul Tracy demonstrate earlier in the Goodyear fight.
So if there is any question at all about the quality of the track down low, I'd say it's gone now. One of the things most of the drivers seem to praise here is how smooth the surface is. Everyone seems to think really a nice track to get around. Nice and smooth. Ari Luyendyk is down in the race now. Let's go down to the pits.
Well, Ari, last week a 3rd place finish in Michigan. The car not responding this week. What's happened to put you out so early?
Basically just handling problems. The car is undrivable. And for me to stay out there and get in the way of everybody and myself, the team decided to call me in and call it a day, and I think it's a wise decision because on these tracks the speeds are too high to have to cope with a car that is very ill handling.
Sorry to hear that. We hope it's better in weeks ahead. Thanks, Ari.
Thank you.
Wow, tough day for Luyendyk, Paul. He just says it's not safe to drive, and the team has put him on the sideline, and he agrees with it.
Good piece of sportsmanship by both he and the team crew. Now, speaking of speeds, fastest lap of the race has been turned by the leader of the race, Nigel Mansell. And there is Paul Tracy as he makes his move on the leader of the race. I was going to say Nigel's been running at 160 miles an hour, and so is Emerson Fittipaldi. Then Mansell's speed dropped off, and now Paul Tracy moves to the lead.
And again, we see Tracy runs right down low across that line. It doesn't seem to affect this Penske. Oh, look at the traffic jam here. Where's Mansell? There's Mansell on the outside.
It gives Mansell an advantage as he closes right back on Tracy's wing. Let's go to Jan Bikas.
Well, Paul, we talked earlier in the race about downforce. One thing that all the teams concede, the Lola teams, the Penske does have a little more downforce. That's why we're seeing